Well, hey, everybody. Team Wilper's Challenge. I am here with Fedor Schulten. Did I say it right?
Yeah, perfect.
Fedor, thank you for visiting with me this morning. This is awesome. Here, I'm going to give an introduction, and I know a few things about you. I know that you live outside of London in the UK. I know that you played hockey as a kid. You played hockey?
Yeah, until about 22.
Okay.
Field hockey, to be clear.
Okay. Cool. Field hockey, but that your coach called you Fedor. So to practice Fedor, you mentioned that. Well, I know now as an adult, you do ride a Peloton, and that you recently got a road bike and now have learned the hard way how to unclip from your road bike before you come to a stop. But looks like you're committed and looking forward to having a lot of fun on that. From Facebook, it also looks like you are a father, a husband, and I'm pretty sure since you've traveled from the UK to Washington, D.C., that you have a job other than athlete of interest for my community of cycling enthusiasts. So tell us a quick about yourself. Tell us what I'm missing.
Yeah, so by background, I'm Dutch, but I went to the UK to study. I got married there, then I got stuck to the UK. Then started my job in the city, so on Wall Street, and have done that more or less ever since. And yeah, I think for me, I grew up being a sports fanatic. And as soon as I started my career, I did nothing. Other than maybe a couple of weeks a year skiing. And then in 2018, I had enough. I was really missing all the exercising and started to run again. And mentally, I still thought I was 21. And so I started off way too fast. I seriously injured my knee. Oh. And so running is basically, that is no longer feasible, at least it's not sensible. And so when the pandemic came, just as I think lots of people here in this group started taking that up, and ever since I started that, it's been a blast. So I'm so happy in a way that there was a side effect of the pandemic. But getting back in a more healthier lifestyle is just been fantastic.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So a couple things about that. Number one, I think I have more ex-runners as cyclists in my client list, but also in this community, and myself included. I don't know if I ever injured, but I know if I run 2 days, 3 days in a row, or train for a week, my knee would be saying, get back on the bike. You are not a runner. So it's similar situation. And then also, Wall Street and cycling. I'm pretty sure our friend Matt was at Goldman Sachs. Are you at Goldman Sachs? Is that right? I looked it up on Google. Our friend Matt was at Goldman Sachs when he came to me and joined my cycling team, and he liked what we were doing so much, he quit and became a coach. So I don't know if you're ready for a career change, but I tend to have that effect on the community. So
yeah, I only discovered that very recently because there was a little picture of him sitting in a cube, and I said, "Ooh, that furniture looks overly familiar." And so now I like to tell people that Matt was checking my numbers when he was at Goldman.
Oh, he was miserable. He hated it so much. He was definitely not meant to be stuck in a cubicle, and yeah, super smart. Look what he's done. It's amazing. So, all right. Well, when you're ready for the career change, we'll look out for you to do bigger and better things. That's cool. So what are you doing? What are your goals? What do you want to accomplish on the bike? I mean, long term, short term, anything come to mind?
Yeah, look, I think short term, I just want to continue make the transition more towards riding outside. I literally just starting, but we're already planning with my brother and a very good friend of mine. We're doing some trips maybe in Mallorca in the summer. So I'm looking forward to not necessarily on the super competitive side, but having fun challenges, on the outdoor bike. That I'm very keen, to look forward to that.
I think there's a lot of opportunities once you get on the outdoor bike to spend a day or a holiday, trips there. It's just a good way to spend the day, and then you can really keep the social thing going, like you mentioned with your brother. So yeah, what a awesome vehicle to further your cycling journey, really.
And yeah, and sort of maybe also, a slightly bigger picture, as a father, setting a good, healthy example to our children. And for them, they knew, I'd been very active as a child, but obviously for the majority of their lives, they didn't see it as they were growing up. And now since the peloton, they've seen quite a big change. And I hope that sort of infects them a little bit and makes them also keen to continue on that journey. I think they are. I mean, my oldest is just sounds like similar age to your oldest. Also, he's just finished high school and is taking a gap year, becoming a ski instructor in Japan, not speaking a single word of Japanese.
Oh, I love it. Good choice.
That's great.
Yes.
And yeah, my daughter's also super active. She's in ballet. My youngest very big in football, and so I love that. For me as a parent, that would be a huge accomplishment.
Oh, that's amazing. So I think we almost owe it to our kids to stay healthy and fit, and we are such role models to them. And so you can get buried in your work, and they can see the stress and how you react to it, and how you live your life is very important as a role model to your kids. So I think that's really important that we all kind of identify that and identify what we want our behavior to be, huh? So that's cool, and it just feels good.
Indeed.
So does that chalk up your motivation? I mean, your kids, so you have goals to do some events and continue your outdoor cycling. Motivation maybe is your kids. Any other motivations? Anything else keep you going?
No, nothing really concrete other than I enjoy doing it so much. When I sit on that bike and I target those percentages with the timer, I zone out, and somehow subconsciously I start thinking about other stuff. And I come off the bike. Yes, you physically feel a bit tired, but mentally I feel so fresh. And so for me, that's what I don't need to accomplish more than that. That's just brilliant.
That's great. I've had in the past in-person clients have to stop a workout in the middle and write something down. Lawyers and Wall Street, and big important jobs on big important projects, and they're like, time out, I gotta stop this workout to write something down, because I just figured out the key point that I've been working on for weeks, but the workout helped me do it. So I think it does stimulate more than just physically, but mentally, the ability to solve problems. Think.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, that's cool. What about obstacles? What gets in your way? I think we're all looking for overall consistency and resilience and persistence, all the different words that mean work out all the time on a regular basis. But what gets in the way for you?
I think, like for most people, time. And in my case, I travel a lot for work. So, having to get up really early, catch a flight, and ending up in a hotel with a bad gym and not being able to continue with the program, that's the biggest obstacle. But yeah, you just find a way to do it. So here this morning, here in the US, I called. They had a Peloton bike, but in Europe hotels don't have Peloton bikes. So I thought that was huge. And so I brought my cycling shoes. I called them, do they have the normal cleats? And so, yeah, you can bring your Delta look cleats. Come here. And of course, it's cages with SPD cleats. That didn't quite work. But no, it's just, that's it. But I still prefer doing it, still working out, even with the wrong shoes. I just get so many, positive feelings from working out that Yeah, if you don't work out for a couple of days, I begin to feel not great. So it's like self-perpetuating now. You just want to do it.
At this stage, I get the same thing, and my family can definitely tell, but maybe they haven't figured it out. There, I know they're thinking, "Why, Greg? Why are you such a jerk?" And I know deep. Well, I've taken a couple days off. I need to get back on my bike. I'm not sleeping well. It's just it's a regulator, you know. It just has to happen.
Exactly.
And then backing up, so it's I haven't had to travel for work like that, but I've talked to a lot of people who do have to go through the same kind of thing that you're going through, and trying to remember if it was one or two, but I know at least one person who traveled with their pedals, power meter pedals,
Oh,
and
wow.
a pedal wrench to go to the hotel gym and remove the pedals and install their power meter pedals and have their Garmin there so that they could work out with power while traveling. They're like, I don't, you know, I'm just going to remove the pedals, and if I get in trouble, then I'll ask for forgiveness rather than asking if it's okay ahead of time. So there's some, you know, it depends on what lengths you're willing to go, but you call ahead and make sure there's a Peloton. So
But still, that you've given me an idea now. That's interesting.
so athletic as a younger person and now cycling, what do you have any big accomplishments? What are you most proud of athletically or cycling or fitness wise?
Uh, Look, as a youngster in Holland, you may not know, but field hockey is as big a sport as soccer. And so, you know, you either played soccer or you played field hockey. And I chose to play field hockey, played at an incredibly high level, went to England, played for the university against another university in a big varsity match, played at a, you know, just a level below national level. I was pretty fit at that time. You know, it's amazing. I since I then stopped, I gained almost 2 stone in weight, and I'm now probably only, you know, 3 or 4 kilos away from my university weight, which is quite incredible. And so, yeah, it's nothing particular winning anything, but it's just, you know, getting back into that sort of healthy lifestyle and, you know, feeling great and fitting in your clothes. So I think Geoff said something similar last week. I mean, it makes a
Love you,
huge
Jeff.
difference. Yeah, sorry, Geoff. It makes a huge difference how you feel.
Yeah. Oh, good answer. Good answer. And the field hockey, that sounds amazing. I think that's fun to reflect on, I'm sure, and remember. And you still do have that ability to be that fit. I think we all have to remember that age doesn't slow us down. It's the inactivity that slows us down for the most part. And it's hard to balance everything with family and work and travel and everything. So to remain active is huge. So cool. Well, what questions do you have for me?
Um, in terms of the training load, the volume, um, and I particularly liked the last challenge, which was quite a step up to, you know, a lot of the other power zone challenges that we have done, and just purely in terms of time. And I noticed quite a um, you know, big effect on my level of fitness. And I just wonder whether this is linear, or it felt to me like, you know, when I go from 3 to 4 hours to maybe 5 hours plus, I feel quite a big step up, and it's not that such a huge difference in a way. But I wonder how does that work? And then reading this Hunter Allen book on Power Zone, where they have training programs with 8 to 12 hours per week, right, which is obviously a huge step up from what we're doing here. But how does that, you know, the volume of hours that you do, how does that translate into fitness?
Oh, I think it translates. You ask if it's linear. I think it is linear. The amount of time you can spend each week on training, and as long as you can recover from that volume, then you are going to see a higher level of fitness. And there is a big difference of 3, 5, 7, and then super competitive people are in the 7, 9, 11-hour range, and then the elites get up into 15 and then 30 hours in a training camp. Just like we spend that much time at our jobs, if you're going to be good at something, you need to spend the time at it. So I think, yes, a lot of you who did the first 2 challenges got a taste of a higher volume training, and that's kind of where my well, I don't want to say private coaching is only for anything. It's not. It's for anybody. I work with many people. Most people are not competitive and are in the 5 to 7 hour range, but that doesn't mean it's only for them. So I don't want to give that impression. That's a big misconception. However, that's when you do see a big bump when you go from 3. I think what is the general guidelines, 20 minutes a day for 3 or 4 days a week, just for overall heart health. But we're doing more than exercising. We're training. And if you see yourself as training and getting more fit, the 5-hour mark seems to be a good amount of time to spend on the bike. And it does take a bit of commitment. You know, it does take making habits that allow you to get on the bike regularly and not missing. So that was fun to watch everyone realize the improvements from the increased volume for those challenges. And I do want to gradually start bringing that structure back. So we'll find a way to do it, and possibly, as I mentioned to Geoff, even do a whole annual training plan for next year on 2 or 3 different levels.
And is there a big difference between getting a volume in largely on the weekend versus more spread out during the week?
I think you can do it with one long ride on the weekend, if that's when you have the time. I think that makes a big difference. You are basically running several different programs. If you focus on one zone on Monday, one zone on Thursday or Wednesday, and then the longer volume ride on Saturday or Sunday, you're working on increasing each of those as the weeks go on, and then making sure you take a pullback week to recover and let every adaptation happen. So no, you can absolutely get your volume in on the weekends. That's fine. And do 45 minutes in the week and focus on the intensity. That's a good formula.
Right.
No other questions? That's it? You're all set?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I love it. Well, I have one other question unrelated. So you live in England, and I live in New England. So I was recently, over the summer, we went to England and Scotland. I don't know if you saw, but I went to Scotland for World Championships cycling. I had an athlete who was competing in time trial, but we stopped. We landed in London, and we drove out to a town called Street. Is like 2.5 hours to the west of London, and Street is where my great grandfather is from. And he came to the U.S. as a young kid, I think even a baby. And he's actually he is the person who built my family cottage here in Vermont, 20 minutes from where I live now. So that was kind of fun to go and see and just walk around this town in the middle of the western, almost to Wales.
Wiltshire or which county?
I don't know which county. I just know the name of the town is Street. It's where the Clark Shoe Company is from. Right. Anyway, so we stayed at a little inn on the way back, and the inn was called the Old Swan Inn. I think it was from the 1400s or 1600s. It was an old inn, and the conversation was, as we were from New England and we were in Old England, was it named because the swan was old, or the inn was old? Was it an Old Swan Inn, or was it an old inn named after a swan? And so that was our controversy.
Very good.
But it was beautiful. I think we were in the Cotswolds. Is that close to you?
Yeah. That's west of us. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was close. Shoot, if I would have known, I would have stopped by for snacks.
You would have been welcome.
Nice.
Right.
All right. Fedor, thank you for joining me and talking and sharing your story with everyone. And I'm gonna hit stop here and